Okay.
Alrighty, Likutei Halacha, Silcha Bircot Hashachar, Halacha Hey. So we're holding in the middle of Sif Samech Beis, in the middle of 62. So this is V'zeh B'chinas David, and so the Iker Tikkun, we said that the Tikkun is there's Yosef that helps those that they didn't blemish yet, not to succumb to the temptation of Yitzhar. Then you got Moshe Rabbeinu, because the major idea is that even though they were not pogam, they didn't damage yet, they're still kosher, but nevertheless they have to add on kedusha every day, because that's the tachlis, that's what life is about. It is Hashem Yosef, that's Yosef. Yosef is Moisif V'oilech, to add on. The entire thing of Yosef is, why is it named Yosef? The Rocha said, Yosef li Elokim ben acher. Hashem will add me, give me an additional son. Then you have Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is for the like of me, and like people like me. That as Adiran says, it took a big bite out of the sin delight. It's like like taking that have been where they have been, that maybe even still are where they are. Yeah. Moshe Rabbeinu goes into there and he pulls them out. He rescues them. Kimina Mayim Yishisiyu. I've rescued him from the water. I pulled him out of the water. Moshe Rabbeinu is pulling out of the water. Those already in hot water. He pulls them out. David HaMelech is B'chinas Mashiach. He has the milchama with Metzach Anocha, that even though you already started, and sometimes sometimes you this, sometimes you that, but Yitzhak keeps on putting on sveikas, and there's big milchama. The big milchama, and the milchama is that no matter what, I would say even that David HaMelech is the in of that no matter what, you keep on fighting, you never give up. No matter what it is, you never give up. With tremendous ritzainis, even if you don't have to do anything. And if you don't have tzedakah, so be very makpid on tznius. If you don't have money to give tzedakah, be very makpid on tznius, because this is like tzedakah, and you sweeten the chal enough. Okay, David b'gematria dai. David b'gematria is enough. What is enough? Enough is the Shem Shakai, Shin Daled Yud. This said, why is it called Lishboch or called Shakai? Why one of his names? This is the name Kodesh, which resides in that's the name Kodesh of the Yesod. It's Shin Daled Yud. That's the name Kodesh. So the Melech says, why it's called Shakai? Why it's called Shin Daled Yud? She'amar la'olam odai. That he said to his world, enough, that's it, up to here, you don't expand more. Because the world would keep on expanding. So that's it, no more. So the secret of constriction, of control, is in B'chinas Shakai. Because v'kel Shakai iten lachem rachamim v'shilach et achrechem acher. This is when Yaakov Avinu was sending his sons to Yosef. He didn't know it was Yosef because Shimon was in jail, and now they finished the food. He says, go down and buy some more food. They said, well, we can't go down. He says, we have to bring Binyamin. He said, you don't bring Binyamin, you ain't coming here, forget about it. So Yaakov Avinu said, okay, take him. He gave him an extra bracha, but that was also a nevuah. It says, "V'kel shaka yitelachem rachamim, v'shilach esachechem acher." V'kel shaka will give you compassion, will give you rachmanos, V'shilach, and he will send out and he will set free your other brother. Shemeramez al ketz geula. This is a remez for the last geula. Shalav ne'emar ma shenitchanen Yaakov Avinu aleinu. This is what Yaakov Avinu has begged for us. Ha'omer la'olam adai, yomer l'saroseinu adai. The one. Why did he say Zekil Shakai? Why did he use Dafka this name, Yaakov Avinu? He says he davened for us, the one who stopped the expansion of his world, will stop the expansion of our troubles, of our sufferings. This is in general and in particular. In the Klolius of Am Yisrael, let HaKadosh Baruch Hu say enough to our trouble. We are in exile for so long. Himself, Baruch Hu will say enough, to our trouble. He will hurry and deliver us an eternal deliverance. And say, I will not, exile you anymore. The same thing applies for each and every one of us personally. Those that already started a little bit, and the tzaddikim has already took him out from where he took him out. They started the trip. Each one knows in his own nefesh, what's going on with him. And still, every single day they have to go through whatever they go through, and all kinds of adventures and all kinds of. By the way, did you bring the? Sorry. Apropos, the adventures of the daily life. And you have to trust in the koyach of the Zkenim D'Kedusha. You have to trust in the koyach of the Zkenim D'Kedusha. Shoyski mechazek es harotzon umamshichim aleinu b'chinas David Mashiach. That they bring upon us. What they do is they are working on one thing, to fortify and to stoke the desire to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And they pull upon us David Mashiach, the Eve of David Mashiach. They will say enough to the trial and tribulation of the nefesh, of the soul, of the spirit of each and every one of us, in Proteus. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu has put an end to the darkness. There is an end to any darkness. There is an end. Bevadai, lo lanetzach yerim. Bevadai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to argue with us forever. And the main thing is to strengthen himself in the koach of the tzaddikim. Because all the tzaddikim are comprised of all the tikkunim of Yosef, Moshe, and David. But each one in Proteus, is dealing with that particular aspect as well. In other words, Yosef is also Isaac in all the. Yosef didn't go through trials and tribulations. Yosef Tzaddik, spent 12 years in jail without knowing. It was same thing with Moshe and the same thing with David. In other words, each and every one of those three tzaddikim, all tzaddikim, is, they went through the whole gamut of of Tosefes Kedusha, of being in trouble and getting out and taking other people out of trouble and being mischazek no matter what happened. Each one, but because Yosef Inyan is the prevention of the first infraction. Keep it clean. Don't go there. In other words, don't use crack for the first time. Don't do it. Don't do it. Why do it? Why smoke heroin? Why? What? Don't do it. No, what happened if he did win and he devils, then you have Moshe. And after you're already out and then you're still going on through, it's every single day, there's new adventures, new Bircot. This is David. But so each and every one of them, even though of course he includes all the other aspects, he symbolizes his main avodah is each one is that. נמצא ששלושת צדיקים האלו, these three צדיקים שבחינת יוסף, משה דוד, that were mistalek and Rava the Rabbit in the time of great favor, and עושים בחינת שלושת תיקונים. They do 3 תיקונים. There are 3 rectifications that they do. אחד, לעלות ולחזק הקשרים עדיין שלא יפלו. To strengthen those that are kosher, that they shouldn't falter for the first time. שלא יעשו חס ושלום, that they should not stray חס ושלום, חס וסבתם, אהבת אלוהים אחרים. You should stray, and immediately that is considered as if you're worshipping idols. ישחזקו תמיד ברוצן חזק לשם יזברך. They should all the time will strengthen themselves in רוצן to Hashem. זה בחינת יוסף. That it's a principle of יוסף. שני, ובחינת מוישה. שמויסיף עוד לעלות יוסף שכבר נפלו למקום שנפלו לא יוסף משם. Those that fell to wherever it is that they fell. והשלישי, מבחינת דוד, who is the main union of Mashiach. מבחינת משיח בן דוד, שהעיקר הוא לגמור לגאולה בכלל ובפרט. The union by him is to finish the geula, to complete the geula, in general, in practical, in the macro and the micro. היינו, שגם אותם שכבר העלה משמעת לרצון, those that are already elevated from oblivion to favor, שצריכים לחזק שלא יפלו, they have to be strengthened, they shouldn't fall again. בכל מה שעובר עליהם, whatever it is that transpires in their lives, they shouldn't fall. So they say יגמור גאולו, and with this he will finish the גאולו. ויאמר דל צריך say that he will say enough to our tzores, במהרה בימינו אמן. And וזה מה שכתוב בספרים, this is the main thing that says in the ספרים, we say you have to switch the oisius of the klolos, the brachas, שעיקר המתוקס הדינים, the main sweetener of the dinim, להפוך מצורו לרצה. From trouble, from straits, to רצה, to want, to will, to desire, to favor, to acceptance. עיקר התיקון הוא מבחינת רצה, מבחינת הרצון העליון. That's the supernal favor. וזה מה שאומר בכל יום אחד בקסתו. Every day, after you say בקסתו, we said the Mishnah, אלה דברים שאין להם שיר. It's very interesting. I'm sure we do something. Have you ever heard of something called the Pareto principle?
No.
Okay. I'll tell you. There's an Italian economist. His name is Pareto. And he made an observation that 20% of the population owns 80% of all the wealth. And then they kept on studying this particular principle to realize this principle is true for everything. Everything in the world, this 80-20 principle applies to it. Yes, now, 80% of the traffic is taking place on 20% of the roads. And the rest of the 80% of the roads carry on 20% of the traffic.
Only 20%.
What?
The other 20%.
20% of the roads carry 80% of the traffic. of the entire traffic. And all the other 80% of the roads, they just carry 20% of the total traffic. Now, forget about the other, the other 80%. Just that 20% that carries, even there, 20% of those 20%, they carry 80%
of that.
Of that. Which means, this is fractal. This is the same thing that we're talking about. The Rabbeinu keeps on talking about that all the bechinas include all the bechinas. There's always divided. All the spheres are containing all the spheres. The important thing for Avodas Hashem here is that the lower down you go, the higher the principle is. In other words, let's take this road example. So we said 20% of the roads carry 80% of the traffic. Okay? Now, 20% of those 20%, they carry 80% of that, right?
Yeah.
Which means that ultimately that 20% of the 20, right?
Yeah, the 20. Yeah.
The second 20%. Okay?
Yeah.
20% of the 20, they carry 64% of all the traffic, b'chlal.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Which means that if you identify those, the same thing applies to marketing. Okay? 80% of your income comes from 20% of your customers. And from those 20%, 20% of them is 80% of the bulk of that. Which means if you were to concentrate only on the 20% of the 20% and concentrate on doing a little bit more for them, you increase the whole thing much more than working for hours and hours and hours for doing all those that are just bubkis. Same thing applies for Avodas Hashem. There are certain avodas which Beklolius, the Pareto principle, the way it applies to Avodas Hashem, is that the main thing is avodah. And the main thing of the avodah is the ritzonos. The ratzon, that's the one, you've boiled the whole thing, into the, in other words, if you keep on, doing the Pareto principle, going, 20% of the 20% of the 20%, so at the end, when you're actually hitting on the nail on the head, a tiny mashahu is a huge exponential difference. More than, so you have one Pareto principle that tzaddik b'emunah yichye is to be mechazik the emunah, because what that does, that inflates the value of your mitzvahs. Because it's the one little thing, it's just mechazik be'emunah. But that is like, it multiplies, in power. The power of 2, the power of 3, the power of 4, the power of 5.
Square, yeah.
So this, but the more emunah you have, the same avodas Hashem that you do means totally different thing. Because the main thing is the emunah. So So the central cog of the Pareto principle of Avodas Hashem is the Tzaddik V'Manos Yichya. Now, in that, obviously, the entire Emunah is Emunah Hashem. But the main Chizik Emunah has to be Emunah Tzadikim. Because the minute that you do what you do with Emunah Tzadikim, it's as if you're taking, listen, you decide that you're going on a trip. How far can you get? If you're just doing it, you're walking by foot, 3 days you get to Yerushalayim. If you walk, 2 or 3 days you get to Yerushalayim. But what happens if you take a car? You get there in half an hour. Let's say you need to get to New York. To walk to New York is impossible. Now you can get there by ship. It'll take you a couple of weeks. But you can take a plane, right? Those are the Pareto principles of Avodas Hashem. Doing what you're doing with Emunah is the difference between going on a trip by foot and going on a trip with a car. With the amount of time, the amount of effort that you put into Torah and mitzvahs, if you were to stoke up the Emunah, instead of traveling 2-3 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, or 80 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, whatever it is, the speed that. If your main avodah and Emunah is Emunah Tzadikim, and the Emunah Tzadikim means Emunah in Hashem, because Shmo Mishutav B'Shmeinu. What do you know of Tzaddik? What's a Tzaddik? What a Tzaddik has a bigger nose. Something Kodesh Baruch Hu more. There's more emistic. The Inikin of Emunah Tzadikim is Emunah in the. It's like flying by plane. The difference between going by car and flying by plane. And then the only thing you need to do is just do your avodah. And the truth is that even if you're not able to do anything, you just mechazik the ratzon, because that's the Pareto principle of that's the main nikud is a ratzon. It should want if you don't want to do, you just be yoytze. We want to be yoytze with the ratzon. Didn't mean you don't really want it. You just
right.
you just want to pretend as if you do, but you don't really. But the ratzon is that you want to do it. The ratzon is you want to serve Hashem. You want to do what you want to do. So this is the Pareto principle of Avodas Hashem. V'tzadik v'nos yichya v'gam b'chayamino la'olam. And this is how B'ezrat Hashem you turn from tzara to ritzeh. And we'll finish here, and we'll start Mitzvah Hashem again tomorrow.